He opened the bank app on a Tuesday morning before work. His savings account had earned $6.40 that year. He had kept $4,000 in that account all year long. $6.40, not the month, the entire year. His rent went up $250 in February with no notice. His paycheck was exactly the same as the previous January. The bank sent him a notification. It said, "Thank you for saving." $6.40 did not get there by accident. The bank set that number. They chose it on purpose. His name was Zeke. He was 34 and lived in Columbus, Ohio. He had a PS5 he bought on Black Friday for $499. He had no regrets about the PS5. None whatsoever. Not one. He had plenty of regrets about the savings account. Different story entirely. 46% of American cardholders carry a balance every single month. Per bank rate data, that share is the lowest it has been in 4 years. Lowest in 4 years still means nearly half of all cardholders in debt. The average credit card balance in America is $6,523. The average interest rate on accounts being charged is 22.3%. That is not a rate. That is a mechanism. There is a difference. Zeke had a balance of $4,200 on his Discover card. He had been carrying that balance for 14 months straight without stopping. He paid the minimum every month, $117 exactly. At that rate, per the Federal Reserve calculator, Payoff takes 9 years. Total interest paid over those 9 years, $2,860. He paid $2,800 for the privilege of owing money. And the savings account sent him $6.40 in return. The bank charged him 22%. It paid him 0.6%. That gap is not a coincidence. It is the product they designed and sold. Zeke was not bad at money. Zeke was operating inside a bad machine. That machine did not get built by accident, and we need to talk. Total American credit card debt hit $1,280 billion in Q4 2025. That is per the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, their own numbers. It is the highest level recorded since the New York Fed began tracking in 1999. It is $350 billion above the pre-pandemic record from 2019. That is not a number. That is a diagnosis. The patient is the entire country. 1 in 5 Americans is now doom spending, per creditcards.com, February 2025. Doom spending. Buying things not because you want them, but because the future feels hopeless. You know the feeling. You have felt it before at the checkout screen. 43% of millennials have given up on certain financial milestones entirely. Per Credit Karma, data from 2024, not opinion, survey data. Saving money. 42% say it now feels completely out of reach for them. Buying a home. 46% of Gen Z say they will never afford one. That is a Harris poll from 2024. 46%. Not pessimists, not complainers. Americans who did the math and believed the result. The median home price in the United States is now approximately $420,000. 2/3 of millennials cannot afford that median price right now, per Real Estate Rich 2025. A 20% down payment on that home is $84,000 up front. At Zeke's current savings rate, that down payment takes over 200 years. $6.40 per year does not close that gap. Not ever. And that is not even the part that should make you angry yet. Home prices have surged 53% since 2020. Per Apartment List data, 2025, 53% in 5 years. Wages during that same period grew nowhere close to 53%. The typical home buyer in spring 2024 paid $2,800 per month. That is per Redfin, an all-time high at the time they measured it. Gen Z Americans spend 31% more on housing than millennials did a decade ago, and 46% more on health insurance than millennials paid at the same age. Per Bureau of Labor Statistics, data analyzed by the Washington Post, not a vibe. Over half of Gen Z's monthly budget goes to housing alone before anything else. Before food, before transportation, before the student loan payment due on the 1st. Almost 40% of Gen Z lives paycheck to paycheck every single month. 1 in 3 Gen Z adults was living with their parents as of 2024. Not because they wanted to, because the math said they had no other option. Zeke did not live with his parents. He paid $1,200 a month in rent. That rent went up $250 this year without a single warning. His landlord sent a letter. The letter did not include the word sorry anywhere. Now look at what the financial advice industry told Zeke to do about all this. Cut the coffee, skip the avocado toast, cancel the streaming subscriptions immediately. One TikTok critic told the Wall Street Journal he was not willing to eat rice and beans. That quote ended up in every financial nihilism article published in 2024. Because it was not laziness, it was a person doing math in real time out loud. If the down payment takes 200 years, the coffee does not matter at all. If the mortgage rate is 6.6% on a $400,000 home, nothing matters. 6.6% on $400,000 is over $26,000 per year in interest alone. That is per the average 30-year fixed rate in 2025, per Redfin data. $26,000 in interest, before property tax, before insurance, before repairs. Zeke ran the numbers at 2 in the morning on a Sunday in October. He closed the mortgage calculator and opened the PlayStation Store instead. Researchers at Northwestern and the University of Chicago studied exactly what Zeke did next. When the probability of home ownership falls below a threshold, behavior changes measurably. People consume more relative to their wealth. They take on riskier investments. They stop saving. This is not irresponsibility. This is the rational response to an irrational payoff matrix. And there is still one more layer underneath all of this that nobody is talking about. Chase made $16.1 billion in net income in 2024. Bank of America made $27.1 billion in the same 12 months. Their single most profitable product is not mortgages. It is revolving credit card balances. The interest Zeke paid on his $4,200 balance contributed to that number. His $2,800 in projected interest over 9 years went somewhere specific. It went to a shareholder in a quarterly report, described as strong consumer credit performance. Strong consumer credit performance means Americans are carrying balances and paying interest reliably. The delinquency language reads, consumers are performing well within expected parameters this quarter. Expected parameters means you pay the minimum. You carry the balance. You do not pay it off. Paying it off would be underperforming from their perspective, inside their model. Zeke was not a customer. Zeke was a revenue line item in a quarterly earnings call. 42% of Gen Z investors hold cryptocurrency, per World Economic Forum data, 2026. That is nearly 4 times the 11% of Gen Z who hold a retirement account. When the conventional path closes, people do not sit quietly and accept permanent renter status. They find another path, even if that path runs through Bitcoin and prediction markets. The system created the nihilism, then blamed the nihilists for not trusting the system. Now look at it from their side, just for a moment, from the other side of the table. Now look at it from their side, the bank's side, the designer's side. In 1991, the average credit card APR was 15.7%. Per Federal Reserve historical data, 15.7% in 1991. Today, the average APR on accounts being charged interest is 22.3%. The Fed funds rate in 1991 was higher than it is right now. Rates came down, bank profits went up, your APR never followed the rates down. That asymmetry was not an oversight. It was a design choice made inside a boardroom. When rates rise, your credit card APR goes up within 1 billing cycle immediately. When rates fall, your credit card APR takes months to move. Sometimes it never moves. The Federal Reserve documented this pattern. They called it the stickiness of retail credit rates. Stickiness is a technical term. The translation is, the house always wins on the way down. Your savings account operates on the exact same asymmetric logic, just in reverse. When rates rise, your savings APY climbs slowly. The bank keeps the spread a little longer. When rates fall, your savings APY drops immediately, sometimes before the Fed meeting ends. Chase savings account pays 0.01% APY as of 2025. Chase net income in 2024, $16.1 billion per their earnings report. $1 to you, $16 billion to them. That is not a coincidence. That is policy. The spread between what they charge and what they pay is called the net interest margin. The wider that margin, the more profitable the quarter. Your pain is their performance metric. Zeke did not know the term net interest margin. He just knew the $6.40. Now, look at the doom spending from this angle, from inside the machine they built. A University of Chicago study found something the banks do not want widely discussed at all. When home ownership feels permanently out of reach, rational behavior shifts in a measurable direction. Leisure spending increases. Risk tolerance increases. Long-term saving decreases. Predictably, consistently. The researchers called it crossing a threshold. Below that threshold, the math of prudence collapses. If saving $500 a month takes 40 years to reach a down payment, why save? The expected value of sacrificing now for a reward that may never arrive is mathematically negative. Doom spending is not a character flaw. It is a rational response to a broken incentive structure. They broke the structure. Then they hired financial therapists to explain your anxiety back to you. 44% of Americans feel pessimistic about their financial future, per Credit Karma, 2024. 43% have given up on financial milestones they once considered completely achievable. The banks did not cause all of that, but they built the mechanism that accelerated every bit of it. 0.01% on savings, 22% on balances. Both numbers are choices. Both numbers were set in a meeting by people with salaries you will never see on a W-2. There is a way out of this, a real one, not a mindset shift, an actual mechanism. The bank designed the trap with one fatal flaw, and the flaw is math they cannot close. They built a system that assumes you will never compare the two rates side by side. The moment you compare them, the entire structure starts to crack open in your favor. Zeke compared them at 2 in the morning. He wrote both numbers on the back of an envelope. 0.01% on the left, 22.3% on the right. He stared at those numbers for 4 minutes. Then he understood what had been done to him. Not to the economy, not to his generation, to him, specifically, on purpose, by name. His account number was on both products, the savings account and the credit card simultaneously. The same institution paying him nothing was charging him everything at the same address. That is not banking. That is a toll booth positioned at both ends of the same road. And Zeke had been paying the toll in both directions for 14 months without stopping. The PS5 did not put him in that position. The rate did. There is a difference. There is a way out of this. The bank is counting on you never finding it at all. It does not require a raise. It does not require selling the PS5, just the math. The math they designed assumes you will never actually run it. Run the math. The first number Zeke needed was 22.3%. His credit card, APR. The second number was 4.2%, the best highest rate available right now, per bank rate. Data as of March 2026, 4.2% APY. Every dollar sitting in a savings account earning 4% is losing 18% net. Because that same dollar could be eliminating debt costing 22% instead of sitting there. This is not theory, this is arithmetic. The Federal Reserve publishes the numbers openly. The move is not complicated, it has a name. Financial planners call it the avalanche method. You list every debt by interest rate. Highest rate at the top, lowest rate at the bottom. You pay minimums on everything. Every available dollar above that goes to the top of the list. Not the biggest balance, not the most stressful one, the highest rate every single time. Zeke's Discover card at 22.3% was at the top of his list immediately. He redirected $60 a month from his savings contribution to that Discover balance instead. $60 a month against a 22.3% balance saves real money fast. Per the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau Payoff calculator, that single change saves 11 months. 11 months of minimum payments eliminated. $460 in interest gone. He did not get a raise. He did not cancel anything. He redirected $60 monthly. That one is good, but the next one is the one the banks really hate you knowing. Most Americans do not know their bank's savings APY. They accepted whatever the app showed them. Chase pays 0.01%. The national average savings rate is 0.6%. The best HISA available today pays 4.2% at Axos Bank, FDIC insured. That is 7 times the national average at a federally insured institution with 0 fees. Moving $4,000 from Chase Savings to an HISA earns $162 yearly. $162 versus $6.40. Same $4,000 deposited. Same money, different address. $155 difference every single year guaranteed. The bank counted on Zeke never opening a second tab to compare those two numbers side by side. He opened the tab. It took 4 minutes. The math was not complicated once he looked directly. Now combine both moves. Avalanche on the Discover card plus HISA for the emergency fund. Month 1, minimum on Discover plus $60 extra. Shuesa opened with $1,000. Month 6, Discover balance drops by $412 faster than the minimum alone. Month 12, HISA earns $42. Discover interest charge drops because the balance is lower. The gap between what he pays and what he earns starts to close for the first time ever. Not eliminated, not fixed, closed. There is a difference, and it matters enormously right now. He still has the PS5. He still orders from DoorDash twice a week, without guilt or apology. He cut nothing. He redirected. $60 and one browser tab changed the entire trajectory. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has a free debt payoff tool at consumerfinance.gov. It runs the numbers, it shows the interest saved, it asks for no login and no credit check. Zeke ran his numbers at 2 in the morning on the same night he did the envelope math. The tool showed him he would be debt-free in 3 years and 2 months instead of 9 years. 3 years and 2 months versus 9 years. Same income, same rent, same DoorDash twice weekly. The difference was knowing which number to attack first and in what specific order exactly. That one works, but the next one is the one they really hate you knowing about. 47% of millennials cannot afford a down payment by conventional savings methods currently. Per Real Estate Witch, 2025. 47% using the standard path. The standard path assumes you save 20% down at 0.6% APY forever. Nobody who designed that standard path was earning 0.6% on their own savings account. There is a non-standard path. It does not require parents. It does not require a windfall. It requires knowing one number the bank never puts in its mortgage commercials or brochures ever. The Federal Housing Administration insures loans with as little as 3.5% down. 3.5% on a $300,000 home is $10,500. Not $84,000, $10,500 on the same $300,000 home. This last one is not in any mortgage commercial you have ever seen anywhere. The bank has never mentioned it in any brochure they have ever printed or mailed. 3.5% down. Federal Housing Administration. Loan program since 1934. 91 years old. Still the most underused path to home ownership in America today. Gen Z uses FHA mortgages at the highest rate of any generation, 29.5%. Per Home Mortgage Disclosure Act, data analyzed by homebuyer.com in March 2026. 29.5% of Gen Z buyers used FHA. The other 70% did not know. Zeke did not know. His bank never told him. The commercial never mentioned 3.5%. The commercial showed a family on a porch, golden light, no number, no rates, no program names. $10,500 is reachable. $84,000 felt like a different planet entirely. Zeke ran the FHA numbers the same night, same envelope, other side of the paper this time. 3 years and 2 months to pay off the Discover card per the CFPB calculator exact. 36 months of redirected payments plus high-say growth gets him close to $10,500. Not there. Close. Closer than 200 years. Closer than he had ever been before tonight. The PS5 was not the problem. The rate was. He knew that now. He wrote it down. One browser tab, one envelope, one free government calculator, 3 years instead of never. The system was designed assuming he would never run these numbers on the same night together. He ran them. The math did not require a financial advisor, a raise, or any avocado sacrifice. The game was rigged. He found the one table where the house forgot to check the cards. The PS5 was not the problem. The rate was.